What's up, lore masters? Let's take a look at Starfleet's tolerance of the intolerant. While rewatching the TNG episode The Outcast, I am struck by a few different themes in it. The way the Janai's culture operates, Starfleet's response and assistance of the Janai, and Riker's sexual interests. So in my opinion, the best place to start when it comes to analyzing all of this is from the beginning, so let's just get into it. The episode begins with the captain's log by Picard indicating that the Enterprise has been contacted by an androgynous race known as the Janai. What's interesting in this is that the dialogue leads us to believe that this is a first contact of sorts for the Federation. There's also some discussion of the Janai's warp capability. I say maybe because we don't know much about the Janai. It's never confirmed if they have warp capability or not, even though they do know warp engines in and out. Additionally, while the Prime Directive does typically require warp drive, we know that a captain can assist if an SOS is sent, even with a species that isn't warp capable, or even if it's not considered an advanced civilization. Either way, the Janai are searching for a missing shuttle which has just gone missing for no reason. The Enterprise discovers that the ship has disappeared into quote-unquote null space, which is just horrifying. So apparently you can disappear and all of the energy on your ship is drained, and that's just a thing that exists in this universe. If I lived in this universe, that would be one of the things that I just preferred not knowing. Anyway, while attempting to chart the null space and find the crew of the Janai's ship, this is used as a good time for the races to learn about each other. The Janai are an androgynous race, as I've mentioned, and don't have sexes. There's even discussion on their differences.
You handle these controls like you grew up in a shuttle.
I did. My parents were pilots. I was flying with them before I could walk. As soon as I was old enough, I entered flight school. Crite was my instructor.
He had a good student.
He. Commander, there are no he's or she's in a species without gender.
Okay. For 2 days, I've been trying to construct sentences without personal pronouns. Now I give up. What should I use? It? To us, that's rude.
They, Riker. They. The word has been used since the 14th century to refer to a person who you don't know what their gender is. It's the word they. The two continue to work around the clock and are able to successfully map the null space. They would additionally be able to save the wayward Janai that had been lost. However, if you've seen the episode, then you know the basic plot is more window dressing as we take a look at the real issue, which is to discuss how the Janai feel that being different is bad.
Occasionally, among my people, there are a few who are born different, who are throwbacks from the era when we all had gender. Some have strong inclinations to maleness, and some have urges to be female. I am one of the latter.
I have to admit, I had a feeling you were different.
I was hoping you would. But in front of Crite and the others, I must be careful not to reveal myself.
Why?
On our world, these feelings are forbidden. Those who are discovered are shamed and ridiculed. And only by undergoing psychotectic therapy and having all elements of gender eliminated can they be accepted into society again.
Ah, good old-fashioned intolerance. It's always interesting for me to watch Nostalgia Track, given the connotations of what Starfleet does really means. While I have historically stated this episode was discussing transgender rights, indeed I still think it is, just indirectly at this point, it was never originally meant to be that. It was supposed to be a discussion on homosexuality. Somehow. However, the focus on the culture of the planet is only one aspect. Starfleet, even after knowing about the oppressive nature of the Janai, is more than willing to continue to work with the society. I think this is intriguing because many within the Trek fandom today, mostly new people if I'm being honest, somehow think that Starfleet subscribes to an extreme and toxic form of liberalism. A type of liberalism that means that Starfleet won't help or even interact with anyone who doesn't think like they do or hold to their standards. Gee, I wonder how they got that idea. The truth is that Starfleet of old was not there to change people or necessarily judge them. They wanted to interact and learn, and perhaps both sides would change and become better.
It is the unknown that defines our existence. We are constantly searching, not just for answers to our questions, but for new questions. We are explorers. We explore our lives, day by day. And we explore the galaxy, trying to expand the boundaries of our knowledge. And that is why I am here. Not to conquer you with weapons or with ideas, but to coexist and learn.
They literally wanted to coexist, so this barbarism that the Janai had of preventing people from having rights where people aren't allowed to be what they are is not something that Starfleet would move to change. While not this extreme, I would even argue we do see some member planets within the show that have a form of misogyny or misandry to one limit or the other. But how should we feel as the audience? Well, personally, as someone who values personal freedoms and choices, I obviously disagree and think that what the Janai are doing is horrific. It is similar to what we see with parents utilizing pseudoscience to change their kids from being homosexual, or attempting to change them from something that the parents just find aberrant. That said, I do wish we would have seen the cultural explanation for all of this, why the government is moving towards it. We're only given glimpses of how this society works. If current year mentality has taught me anything, and the defeat of the church in the culture war and the rise of the more secular elements, those who were oppressed didn't really want equality, but they wanted to take over and instill their values on everyone else. None of us are virtuous. We all just want power. Let's go ahead and discuss Riker's actions. So, with a race that is willing to change its people because they have wrongthink, Riker has decided to save the woman that he loves. This will come at the expense of his commission for interfering in internal affairs of another planet, of course. His plan is pretty simple. Beam down before she is quote-unquote adjusted, save her, and teleport back to the Enterprise. We know that Starfleet is staying out of it and Picard won't assist, so why is Riker transporting back to the Enterprise? After getting her back on the Enterprise, wouldn't Picard really just return her? Maybe Riker thought that once they beamed up, his new girlfriend would ask for asylum, which I guess is fair enough, I suppose. But that's betting a lot on Starfleet not acquiescing to the Janai. I would have imagined that Riker would have taken a shuttle and gotten the hell out of Dodge, but perhaps he felt he would not have been able to escape. Either way, apparently utilizing Starfleet assets to beam down onto a planet, assault security forces, and kidnap a citizen of another government goes unpunished as long as she doesn't want to go with you. To be fair, I could be a bit pessimistic here. If I had to explain it, I would say that saving the crew from the shuttle in the null space probably meant that the government simply looked the other way. This episode showed some interesting aspects of Starfleet and tried to make us question cultural oppression. And for my money, I think it did a good job. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below.